In Islam, hard work is not just a practical necessity of life, but a deeply spiritual principle that is closely connected to a person's faith and purpose. It is seen as a form of worship when done with sincerity and for the sake of Allah. Even daily efforts like earning a living, taking care of one's family, or studying become acts of devotion. Islam teaches that life is a test and that striving with one's time, energy, and talents is an essential part of fulfilling that test. The Qur'an, Hadith, and the lives of the prophets all consistently emphasize the virtue of effort, patience, and perseverance. The Qur'an states in Surah At-Tawbah 9:105, "And say, do as you will, for Allah will see your deeds, and so will His messenger and the believers." This verse encourages action, reminding believers that what they do in this life is being observed and will be judged. This motivates Muslims to be diligent, responsible, and consistent in their efforts, knowing that even small deeds are valued in the sight of Allah if done with the right intention. Another powerful verse is from Surah An-Najm 53:39, "And that man shall have nothing but what he strives for." This highlights personal accountability and the idea that results come from effort. Islam rejects laziness and dependence on others when one has the ability to work. Instead, Muslims are taught to tie their camel, meaning to take action and precautions, while also trusting in Allah for the outcome. This balance between effort and tawakkul, trust in Allah, is at the heart of the Islamic view on hard work. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself demonstrated the highest standards of hard work. He was known for being active, efficient, and trustworthy in his work, even before prophethood. As a trader, he earned the title Al-Amin, the trustworthy, because of his honesty and dedication. After receiving revelation, he worked tirelessly day and night, spreading the message of Islam, teaching, resolving disputes, and managing the affairs of the growing Muslim community. Despite facing immense hardship, persecution, and exhaustion, he never gave up or became complacent. His life was an example of purposeful hard work driven by sincere faith. Furthermore, Islam encourages hard work in all areas of life: education, business, family, and social service. The Prophet said, "No one has ever eaten better food than what he eats from the work of his own hands." Bukhari. This hadith emphasizes the dignity and reward in self-earned effort. A believer who works to support their family, seek beneficial knowledge, or serve others is engaging in acts that are beloved to Allah. The emphasis is not only on success, but on the process, on striving with honesty, patience, and perseverance. In conclusion, hard work in Islam is a fundamental value, not limited to physical labor or worldly achievement, but connected to spiritual growth and moral responsibility. It is through effort that a Muslim fulfills their duties, contributes to society, and earns the pleasure of their Creator, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stands as the ultimate role model of hard work, not only for Muslims, but for all of humanity. His life is a living testament to dedication, perseverance, and resilience. From his early years, the Prophet experienced hardship and responsibility. He was born an orphan, lost his mother at a young age, and was raised by his grandfather and later his uncle. Despite the emotional difficulties, he grew into a man known throughout Makkah for his honesty and trustworthiness, earning him the titles As-Sadiq, the truthful, and Al-Amin, the trustworthy. He worked as a shepherd in his youth and later as a merchant, conducting trade with fairness and diligence. These experiences instilled in him a deep understanding of life's challenges and a strong work ethic that would shape his prophetic mission. When Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, received the first revelation at the age of 40, his real test of hard work began. He was entrusted with a message that would transform the world, but it came with immense trials. Preaching Islam in a society that was deeply rooted in tribalism, idolatry, and social injustice required extraordinary determination. He faced opposition from his own tribe, insults, physical harm, social boycott, and even attempts on his life. Yet he never gave up. He continued to spread the message with patience and consistency. He walked for miles to meet people, stood in prayer at night, and engaged in dialogue during the day, all with the goal of guiding humanity. The prophet's hard work was not limited to preaching. He was also a statesman, a judge, a military leader, and a family man. In the battles of Badr, Uhud, and the Trench, he did not stay behind. He participated alongside his companions, strategized with them, and even helped dig the trench during the Battle of Kanda. His leadership was not one of authority, but of example. He carried bricks to build the mosque in Medina, mended his own clothes, served his family at home, and showed humility in every aspect of life. What makes his hard work even more admirable is the sincerity behind it. He did not seek fame, wealth, or political power. His mission was purely for the sake of Allah and for the betterment of society. He reformed social norms, uplifted the poor, advocated for women's rights, and encouraged seeking knowledge. He worked tirelessly to unite people, establish justice, and nurture faith in hearts. Even in his final days, while ill and physically weak, he continued to lead prayers and give advice to his companions. His final sermon at the farewell pilgrimage summarized a life of relentless effort for the service of humanity. Today, over 1.9 billion people follow his teachings, proof of the lasting impact of his hard work and sincerity. The life of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, teaches us that hard work, when driven by purpose and sincerity, can change the world. His dedication in the face of all odds remains a timeless source of inspiration. Muslim immigrants in the West have played a significant role in shaping the perception and growth of Islam in non-Muslim societies. Their journey is often marked by a deep sense of purpose, resilience, and determination to build better lives for themselves and their families. This commitment to self-improvement and social contribution becomes a powerful example of hard work, which not only benefits their personal growth, but also reflects the values of Islam in action, whether they arrive from countries facing war, poverty, or political instability. Muslim immigrants often carry with them strong values of faith, family, community, and perseverance. When Muslims settle in Western countries, they are usually met with both opportunities and challenges. The opportunities come in the form of better education, freedom of expression, access to health care, and economic mobility. But the challenges can be daunting. Language barriers, cultural differences, discrimination, and social isolation. Yet, it is through these difficulties that their hard work becomes visible. Many immigrants work long hours in labor-intensive jobs, start small businesses, or take multiple roles just to provide stability for their family. Others pursue higher education, striving for academic excellence and becoming doctors, engineers, teachers, or entrepreneurs. This relentless effort is not only for survival, but also a reflection of Islamic teachings that encourage believers to be productive, honest, and committed members of society. Children of immigrants also grow up witnessing their parents' sacrifices and dedication, which often instills a strong work ethic in the next generation. These young Muslims tend to value education and community service, and many of them become advocates for social justice, civil rights, and interfaith dialogue. As they integrate into society while preserving their Islamic identity, they present a powerful image of balanced living, one that attracts the curiosity and respect of their non-Muslim people. People begin to see that Muslims are not just passive members of society, but active contributors, building communities, opening businesses, excelling in academics, and volunteering in local initiatives. Moreover, the visible growth of mosques, Islamic schools, and cultural centers in Western cities is a testament to the hard work of Muslim communities. These institutions are usually built through collective efforts, fundraising, planning, and volunteering, showing how deeply invested Muslims are in preserving their faith while also enriching the broader society. Islamic events like Ramadan iftars, charity drives, or open mosque days serve as bridges between Muslims and non-Muslims, offering chances to break stereotypes and foster mutual understanding. This immigrant experience, rooted in faith and powered by hard work, is one of the reasons Islam continues to grow in the West, not only in numbers but also in influence. As Muslims prove their dedication to both their religion and their new homelands, more people are drawn to the faith that inspires such commitment. It is through these real-life examples of integrity, effort, and resilience that the beauty of Islam becomes clear to many who may have once misunderstood it. Certainly, here is an expanded version of the fourth keynote, Misconceptions in Media versus Reality, in about 500 words, written in an educational and reflective style. In today's globalized world, information spreads faster than ever before. Yet with this speed comes a serious problem: misinformation and misunderstanding. When it comes to Islam, especially in the West, the gap between what people see in the media and what Islam actually teaches is often very wide. Sadly, the image of Islam in many Western media outlets has long been shaped by political events, acts of violence by fringe groups, and fear-based narratives. These portrayals frequently overlook the true essence of the religion, its values, and the everyday lives of millions of peaceful, hard-working Muslims. News reports often highlight extremist acts and label them Islamic terrorism, without separating the actions of individuals from the teachings of the faith. As a result, many people develop misconceptions, assuming that Islam promotes violence or oppression. This couldn't be further from the truth. The word Islam itself comes from the root word salam, meaning peace. The religion encourages compassion, justice, and respect for all humanity, regardless of race or belief. What's fascinating is that in many cases, these negative portrayals actually drive people in the West to study Islam for themselves rather than accepting what they see on television or read in biased articles. Curious individuals turn to the Qur'an, authentic hadiths, and academic resources. And what they discover often surprises them. They find a religion that emphasizes mercy over punishment, knowledge over ignorance, and unity over division. They learn about a prophet who was kind to animals, respectful to women, forgiving to his enemies, and known for his honesty even by his opponents. Moreover, when non-humblers interact with practicing Muslims, whether neighbors, colleagues, or classmates, they often notice something different from what the media has shown. They see Muslims working hard, raising families with strong values, caring for the poor, and practicing regular acts of worship and self-discipline. This personal exposure becomes the bridge between misconception and reality. It creates an opportunity for dialogue, understanding, and sometimes even deep admiration. This is one of the reasons why Islam continues to grow in the West, not despite the negative media, but in some cases because of it. When people seek the truth sincerely, they are often drawn to the spiritual clarity and structure that Islam offers. They realize that behind the headlines lies a religion that has inspired scholars, scientists, poets, and philosophers for centuries. They see that Islam is not a foreign or threatening force, but a comprehensive way of life that calls for balance, justice, and purpose. In the end, it is through the contrast between media portrayal and actual lived experience that many people come to see Islam in a new light. The truth speaks for itself, and it does so most clearly when Muslims continue to live their faith with dignity, patience, and hard work, showing the reality of Islam through their actions, not just their words. Certainly, here's an expanded version of the fifth keynote, Conversions Based on Study and Reflection, written in an educational and formal tone without headings or an intro label, and kept within approximately 500 words. One of the most fascinating aspects behind the rapid growth of Islam in the West is the number of people who are embracing the religion not through emotion or pressure, but through independent study and deep reflection. In fact, many converts to Islam in Europe and North America describe their journey to faith as an intellectual one. Often they begin by questioning their own belief systems or searching for a deeper sense of purpose and direction in life. Disillusioned by materialism, social pressures, or lack of spiritual clarity, they turn to religious texts and philosophy And among these, the Qur'an stands out. The Qur'an's appeal lies in its direct universal message. Unlike many scriptures that have been altered or interpreted over centuries, the Qur'an is preserved in its original form and is recited exactly the same by Muslims across the globe. Its emphasis on monotheism, social justice, personal accountability, and the balance between spiritual and worldly life strikes a deep chord with many who are searching for meaning. When people in the West study Islam objectively, free from media bias, they often discover a religion that is rational, disciplined, and spiritually fulfilling. A significant number of these converts are women, which may surprise some considering the negative stereotypes about gender in Islam. However, many women report that what they find in Islam is a strong sense of dignity, clarity in roles, and spiritual equality. Islam teaches that men and women are equal in the sight of God, and each is rewarded according to their efforts. This clear framework, combined with the modesty and self-respect promoted in Islam, often inspires women who feel objectified or undervalued in other cultural contexts. Another reason people convert is the personal example of Muslims around them. When they witness Muslims praying regularly, avoiding harmful substances, helping the poor, and valuing family life, it sparks curiosity. Many start to research Islam just to understand why Muslims are so committed to their beliefs. What begins as interest often evolves into serious study, reading translations of the Qur'an, watching lectures, and even visiting mosques. This process of learning often leads them to see Islam not as a foreign religion, but as a comprehensive way of life based on logic, purpose, and peace. It's also worth noting that Islam does not require blind faith. In fact, the Qur'an encourages people to think, question, and reflect. Verses often begin with, "Do they not reflect?" or "Do they not use their reason?" This appeal to the intellect resonates strongly with people in the West, where education and reasoning are highly valued. Islam's call to truth through reflection and study is one of the most powerful reasons it continues to gain sincere followers, not through emotional conversions, but through knowledge-based commitment. In conclusion, the rise of Islam in the West is largely powered by those who seek truth through study. Their conversions are not sudden, but the result of sincere reflection, personal experiences, and careful analysis. These new Muslims often become some of the most dedicated and informed members of the faith, proving that knowledge and hard work are at the heart of spiritual transformation. Let me know if you'd like this section in a more casual tone or with quotes from real-life converts. Certainly. Here's an expanded version of the sixth keynote. Hard work in dawah and community building in an educational tone and around 500 words. In the context of Islam's growth in the West, one of the most significant but often overlooked factors is the consistent hard work being done in the areas of dawah and community building. Dawah, which means inviting others to understand and embrace the teachings of Islam, is not just a formal act of preaching. It includes every effort made by Muslims to represent their faith through words, actions, and character. This work is not easy, especially in societies where Islam is misunderstood or misrepresented. Yet many Muslims, both individuals and organizations, devote time, energy, and resources to spreading the message of Islam in a peaceful, respectful, and intelligent way. In many Western countries, Muslims engage in dawah by organizing public lectures, distributing free Qur'ans, holding open mosque days, and using social media platforms to explain Islamic values. These efforts require planning, patience, communication skills, and the ability to respond to criticism or tough questions calmly. This is where the value of hard work truly shines. It is not just about preaching, it is about building relationships, answering doubts, showing kindness, and being consistent in one's message and behavior. True da'wah is lived out through good character, being honest at work, kind to neighbors, helpful in the community, because Islam teaches that actions speak louder than words. Alongside da'wah, community building is another area where Muslims are working extremely hard in the West. In many cities, you will find Muslims coming together to establish mosques, Islamic schools, food banks, community centers, and youth programs. These initiatives are not funded or managed by governments. They are usually the result of grassroots efforts where ordinary people come together, contribute money, time, and skills to build institutions that serve not only Muslims, but the wider society. For example, Islamic charities often run soup kitchens, clothing drives, and disaster relief efforts for people of all backgrounds. These acts of service are deeply rooted in Islamic teachings about helping others, and they help build bridges between Muslims and non-Muslims. Many people in the West, after seeing these efforts, begin to ask questions. Who are these people? Why are they helping us without expecting anything in return? These simple but sincere acts of service become a powerful form of dua themselves. Another important aspect is youth engagement. Muslim communities are increasingly focusing on the younger generation, helping them stay connected to their faith while being active, confident citizens. Youth groups, sports events, counseling services, and leadership training are being organized, again, often through voluntary hard work and dedication. These efforts create safe spaces for young Muslims to grow spiritually, socially, and academically. In conclusion, the hard work being done in dawah and community building is a major reason for Islam's positive visibility and growth in the West. These efforts, based on sincerity and service, continue to change minds and hearts, showing that Islam is not just a religion, but a complete way of life that values hard work, compassion, and contribution to society. Let me know if you'd like this in a paragraph form or ready for a slideshow presentation.